Hi there, how we doing? We're back on the 67 Hail Hail channel on YouTube, looking back on Celtic 1, AC Milan 3. I'm Hamish Carton, David Walton's there as well. David, we'll get right into it. Overall thoughts on tonight?
Disappointing. I was kind of hoping we'd have a better reaction than that. Not really anything logical behind it because I don't think we've shown enough good performances this season. But I just hoped they would have shown something better than that. I know we came into the game in the second half. Well, I would say 15 minutes into the second half, but first 45 was atrocious. It was really bad. We didn't lay a glove on them really. Maybe outside the first 10 minutes, thought we caught them up the pitch a couple of times. Thought Charlotte started as he went on. I think he was the only real plus point for the starting 11. But after that 10 minutes, once Milan got their opening goal, which was so soft, they just didn't look troubled. It was exactly where they wanted the game to be at that point. It was worrying how badly that affected us, I felt. I thought it took so much wind out of the players, that goal. There was no reaction to that. I think Donnarumma really had anything to do. The first half. The second half, again, a bit better. He changed the shape a bit. Brought on Rogic, who was really tidy tonight. Christie was okay too. Both of them sort of added an injection of freshness, but it wasn't enough. You can't start poorly against these teams and think you can claw it back in the second half. But I'm just disappointed. I expected better tonight, mate. I just hoped we would have given a reaction to Saturday, and I don't think we got it, personally.
I had very low expectations for tonight's game just after the way we'd played on Saturday, going into a game against the team that's been, sweeping all aside in Italy so far this season, sitting top of Serie A. I think I'm right in saying one of only two teams with 100% records so far this season, maybe in the whole of Europe, AC Milan in terms of the league. However, saying all of that, I think for me the most kind of frustrating part of tonight was that I didn't ever, similar to Rangers on Saturday actually, I didn't ever feel Milan really had to up their game, perhaps apart from when it went to 2-1 and they obviously scored the late goal to make it 3-1. If we talk about the first half, I just found it, really, really disappointing. I think you could argue there was a little bit more effort there than Saturday. I think there was a bit more, effort to get involved in the game, but the most concerning part for me in that first half was that we just looked completely rudderless. There was no leadership in the park. There was no idea of how we were going to score goals. And on top of all that, the defending was just an absolute shambles again. Really similar goal to the one we lost to the first one on Saturday against Rangers, the first one we lost tonight. So lessons aren't been learned in that part of the pitch. And, up top, Lee Griffiths was pretty anonymous in the game. Second half, not even second half, I think last 15 minutes, if I'm fair, I thought was better. I thought we performed a bit better, but you wonder how much of that was Milan easing off as well, thinking the job's done at 2-0. They've got a big game against Roma on Monday, so you wonder how much of that, it's obviously impossible to tell how much of it was us and how much of it was them, but there's no doubt that when it went to 2-1, for me, they tightened up a little bit, and we never really created much when it went to 2-1. I was speaking to you just before we started. I don't know how many Celtic fans watching this feel the same way. I just feel really lifeless at the moment and really devoid of any kind of optimism, any heart. And for me, that's even more worrying than being fizzing as I was on Saturday after the game. I just feel really deflated, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a game that really... Well, it was a game that captured the imagination going into it. Even the build-up after Saturday, that this game didn't hold the gravitas that it should do. I mean, if you could imagine Parkhead totally packed, it would have been right up for this going into the game. But I thought the whole experience, as I thought Saturday was just lifeless. I think these games without crowds are terrible. I really do.
That's got a part to do. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, the team's performances are poor, but the crowd. I mean, I know we've put in terrible performances with fans last season, Cluj, Copenhagen, so it's not just to do with the crowd, but it certainly doesn't help. For a big night against AC Milan, seeing no fans there, no atmosphere, and a performance like that.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately the result, if we'd have beaten Milan tonight, we'd probably look at things a wee bit differently, but It doesn't help. I think this is a team that needs some backing from supporters. I don't think there's enough belief throughout that Celtic starting 11, to be honest, or throughout the Celtic squad just now. I don't think they believe tonight that they could seriously hurt Milan. But I mean, there's so much to go through really about the faults in the team. It's difficult to know where to actually pin your focus. Do you want to go to the defence? Do you want to go to how slow the ball's moving in the middle of the park? The ineffectiveness of Callum McGregor and Scott Brown.
Well, you've kind of gone through it all. Let's kind of look at it systematically then, and let's start with the defence. And we've, on this channel, I've never been one to, pillory players for absolutely no reason. I think we have to have a conversation about Shane Duffy. I really do. Is this guy all that he was made out to be when we joined? He was, paraded, not literally, but on social media as being the player we needed at the back, the giant who was going to be commanding, win headers, and he's none of that. He is none of that. He is painfully slow, and for me, it was showing up badly tonight, just as it was on Saturday, even more so tonight, and I think we need to have a conversation about him.
Yeah, reactions were too slow. He's not got a lot of pace at all. His game. I think he's quite careless in his use of the ball as well. I think his switch as a player really bad. It's almost like a bad joke, isn't it? When you consider how he was built up when he first arrived, it's as if he's just playing games with some of these performances. I don't think we play his strengths at times. I don't think we don't play with a deep line. I think he would maybe prefer that, but even some of the physical battles, some of the rashness the way he goes in just doesn't impress me either. I mean, the best centre-back in the pitch tonight was Christopher Ajer by an absolute landslide.
Can I just jump in quickly and make a point? For me, our two best players tonight were Ajer and Laxalt. Now, one of them's been linked to Milan in the summer and the other's playing against his lone club. Is that a coincidence?
Well, I mean, I think Ajer will have had that in his mind tonight. Let's not kid ourselves. He knows Milan were interested in him. Of course, he'd love to revive that for when he does move. I'm sure some of that would have been on his mind a wee bit. He actually, for me, created maybe a best chance of the game when Ajeti sort of get in and Ajer had played it to him in the box first 10 minutes. I thought that was maybe a best opening for trying to remember some of the other chances we had. But
very little. Yeah.
I thought Ajer was good. I know Stephen Welsh was beaten for the opening goal, but he didn't disgrace himself tonight. I don't think he's at this level quite yet, but he didn't do himself any harm. Duffy, though, I mean, it's just not good enough, Hamish. If we are going to win 10 in a row, we need a lot better than what Duffy's providing for us at the back just now. I think he's got a good personality in terms of how he sort of carries himself on the pitch. I do think he is a leader. I think you can see that with Ireland, but he's just not. Doesn't seem to have the quality to be playing with us at the moment, and that's maybe the most surprising thing considering his reputation. But listen, it's not just the back. We've just said it there. The midfield has to be discussed as well.
This might sound outrageous, but I don't think we can ever play a midfield of Brown, McGregor and Cham again. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Whatever the dynamics, I would argue the three of them, probably along with Duffy, were our worst players tonight, and possibly McGregor excluded. The other two on Saturday as well were awful, and Cham doesn't look interested at all. He came into the game, to be fair, later on, but he doesn't have the application. Scott Brown looks painfully slow at European level. Now, say what you want about Scott Brown domestic level, he still has a part to play, in my opinion. European level, not for me. The days of Scott Brown being able to play against a speedy team like Milan, who are quick when they move the ball in the midfield, are gone. And another player we need to talk about, for me, Callum McGregor. What has happened there? For me, other than Edward, our best player the last couple of seasons, a brilliant player, a player who, if he leaves us, will go for 25-30 million in my book. Awful again tonight. Really poor.
Yeah, I mean, you just went through them all there. I don't know what else can add, really. Scott Brown. For me, Brown is quite a funny one because at times you can see him and you can see the pass he wants to make when he receives the ball. It takes him so many touches these days to actually do it. Olivier Cham is too interested in the flashy stuff at times for me. I think he's got everything, absolutely everything, to be a really real top player. But I just don't like the way he goes about it in the pitch. I think he's too concerned with being on highlight reels at times. And obviously the one you're talking about there, Callum McGregor. I mean, it's difficult to know why he's so ineffective these days. When he picks the ball up, his first instinct seems to be to turn to the side and try and find a wide man. It's not really what McGregor was good at under Brendan Rodgers, being a bit of a box-to-box midfielder, getting himself involved in attacks. Every shot he has these days seems to be either off target or blocked.
Blocked is what I was going to say, yeah.
He's just not having an impact on games. I thought he was really poor for the second goal as well. Thought he sort of got in Duffy's way a little bit. That caused a bit of panic, and it's an easy finish in the end. So there's so much wrong with that midfield. There's not one good performer in it. And I'm not sure we have 3 direct replacements just now. Maybe you could drive them off for me. But it's just not good enough, Hamish. All right, it was only 3-1. I know some of us were maybe predicting a worse result tonight, but Milan had made some changes to the lineup too from what was their strongest 11. And I think generally the overall performance, a good 20 minutes doesn't interest me, mate.
Yeah, we've got a question in there from Just Jordan. I just want to say, I've lost it there on the screen, you need to scroll up. I just want to say, Jordan, thanks very much for the support. Always see your comments and appreciate it. He's saying, what do you think of Rogic, McGregor and Christie in the midfield? Didn't we play those 3 last season when Brown was injured at some point? I remember those 3 playing around the Murrayfield time, I think under Brendan Rodgers. I think maybe a Kelly home 1-5-1, something like that. I remember those 3 playing and been very good. It's something I've always wanted to see, Ryan Christie playing a little bit deeper, because I think you're right. If it's not going to be Scott Brown, and I would still play McGregor, by the way, because I think he can still be a good player. I think he's just going through a blip, whereas I think the problems with Cham and Brown are more substantial. But for me, Christie, I would always think that he'd be able to play that kind of engine role, especially against lesser teams in the league. I know Aberdeen aren't a lesser team, but even on Sunday I would back Ryan Christie to be able to play that. But one thing again, we were saying just before we started, Tom Rogic, very good when he came on, I thought. He's not got the pace, but he certainly has the quality, and for me he has to start on Sunday at Aberdeen. The question to you, I'm not going to ask you should he start, the question is, will Neil Lennon start, or will he be the kind of stubborn Neil Lennon that we've got to know over the last wee while?
That's a really good one. Normally I'd say he'd be the stubborn one, but I think he's under so much pressure now. I really do.
Yeah,
I think his most dangerous moment as a Celtic manager, maybe not over the 2 spells, because you go back to when he drew 3-3 at Kelly and things like that, but in terms of his second spell, this is his most dangerous moment for me. I think he sort of bowed to the pressure tonight and put Griffiths in alongside Ajeti. So I think when you look at Rogic's performance tonight, why not put him in there? I know we've had these discussions so much in the past about Tom Rogic though, and then we do see him come into the team and then he'll pick up another injury that gets him out for 6 weeks. But
it's a frustration.
If he's available and he's playing well like he did tonight, yeah, why not? He should be fit to play. He should be fit to start. I would do it, and I think Lennon might do it. In terms of who gets sacrificed, I think it's going to be Olivier Cham.
And we've said for months and months that Olivier Cham should be getting more game time. I feel like my patience has gone over the last wee while. Right.
He's had some big opportunities.
Yeah, and for me, he's a nearly man. I think it's your favourite or famous saying that Cham's a great player on the bench. He always seems a lot better when he's not playing for Celtic. Was that you or was that someone else?
Don't know. It could have been.
Just reach that point where nothing else matters. Yeah. Right, there was a bit of a better moment, or a few better moments in the game. I spoke about being really deflated and just sitting through that game, just rolling my eyes and not even really been totally invested. Now, I don't know if that came from the fans or the level of the performance from Celtic, probably a bit of both. But it did reach a point in the game when we got that goal, and the goal comes out of nothing. It's a set-piece goal. I don't know how well Yunusi ends up getting it, but he does. There's a moment shortly after that when we start to fire forward and Frimpong gets the ball on the right wing and he drives it across, and that was the first moment in a good while with Celtic, in a big game anyway, that I got excited for a moment and I felt that the hunger was back. And I know we went on to lose the next goal in the game. I know we've lost 3-1. Do you think there were some signs at the end of that game there that we can build on Sunday against Aberdeen?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how tonight's game went, I would always back us to beat Aberdeen, you know. Um, I think it's a good point you make about, first time we're really interested, or first time we're really excited in a big game like this in a while. I think, with regards to the actual moment itself, I think Frimpong needs some coaching with his crossing. I think some of the crosses
He's
are
if he
really,
could
really
cross
good.
the ball, he would be an amazing
Absolutely.
footballer.
Definitely. But no, listen, you go to Pittodrie, and of course, me and you and every other Celtic fan should be confident of turning up at Pittodrie and winning the game. I think we've won our last 8 there or something like that. So, no fears going to Pittodrie. You have a respect for the fact Aberdeen can make it difficult for you, but, domestically, you still have to back this Celtic team to beat anyone. I think Lennon just has to make the right changes to the team, and I think they were quite obvious tonight what needs done. So yeah, I'll go to Aberdeen with confidence. I've not once after that game for 1 second started thinking, oh God, it's Aberdeen next. I think if we start getting into that territory, we really are in trouble. So yeah, I'm confident for the weekend. I'm just hoping Lennon does maybe the changes that are necessary, and that definitely includes Tom Rogic coming back in.
Yeah, I want to see Tom Rogic in the team. I want to see Ryan Christie in the team as well. Although I know for a fact it'll be Scott Brown and Callum McGregor anchoring the midfield. I just know that for a fact. That's what the team will be, and I'm going to get upset about it already. But it's a huge game. It's an absolutely massive game, and I know there's a danger of making every game absolutely massive at the moment, but we are at a critical stage here, and if we were to drop points on Sunday, not saying Neil Lennon sacked on Sunday night or Monday morning, but I think it's the beginning of the end, because I think we then drop further behind Rangers, given the way everything's been played out in the media and amongst the Celtic support over the last few weeks and months. I don't think he recovers from that. It is a huge game. I don't know if it's over the top. It probably isn't to say that he's fighting for his job right now on Sunday. And it is a game we should win. We should always beat Aberdeen, but it's a tough game as well, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, I mean, what you're saying, with regards to Lennon, he's definitely fighting for his job. Whether you or I or anyone watching this video thinks he should be sacked or not, what you can't deny is a lot of Celtic fans are wanting Lennon out the door. I mean, that's just undeniable. There is a growing number of Celtic fans that aren't happy with how this season is going, and they want a change now. For me, I don't think the Celtic board will act on that for a good while yet.
No,
I think there's
agree.
a relationship between Lennon. I think there's a really strong relationship there between Lennon and the board. I think that was proven when he actually got the job in the first place. So, yeah, I can't see anything like that happening. But I mean, if he goes to Pittodrie and doesn't win there, we're in crisis territory with regards to the season. I know when you look at the table, it seems so premature. You win the game in hand, you're 1 point behind. But it's not just about the table. It's not just about the fact we lost to AC Milan tonight. You can do that any season. But it's the performances. It's every single performance. So I'm struggling to get excited about 20 minutes today. I'd like to see a full 90-minute display from this team, because that's what we're going to need if we are to take the title and win 10 in a row.
Completely. That sums up how I feel. As I say, I think we're at a critical moment right here. I think it was critical before tonight. In many ways tonight, listen, the Europa League's important for me. It's important for the club to have a good, prestige. And I really struggle to look at European tables and see us bottom of them, because I just think the rest of Europe looks and goes, oh, Celtic are terrible. That's why I took so much pride in last season getting, top in our group and all that. And for me, the Europa League may well be a write-off for us this season, because, we go to Lille in a week's time. There's no 3 or 4 week gaps like there usually is this season. A week's time, we're away to Lille, a team who won 4-1 tonight, by the way, away at 10 men, Sparta Prague, but they still won 4-1. A team that are top of the French league, I think have won every game bar a couple. And for me, if we lose that, we're then 6 behind Lille. We're probably 6 behind Milan, because I would think they would beat Sparta Prague at home. And for me, the Europa League is pretty much over for another season now. I know we're only 2 games into it at that stage, but we're 6 behind both of those teams who are playing so well. So it hurts me that the Europa League may well be a non-event for us this year. I've not written off qualifying yet, but I think it may be a non-event. But for me, the important thing is Sunday now. Has that 15 or 20 minutes spurred the team on? Is there still fight in this team to go, we're going to go and turn this round? Or are we going to put in another insipid performance and drop points at Aberdeen? For me, I can't weigh up right now and say one of them's going to happen, and that is a concern. Years, the past couple of seasons under Brendan Rodgers and Lennon last season, I would have been able to say, yes, we're going to see a reaction on Sunday. We're going to turn up, we're going to beat Aberdeen, and everything's not going to be all right in the world, but it's going to be signs that we're getting there and we've still got that fight. Right now, it's a toss-up for me what happens on Sunday.
I think there's so many games this season you would have went into thinking, oh, okay, that's the one, we'll turn it on there. I think
it's not happened.
Confident. It's not happened at all. I mean, even the games we've won by some margins, you're looking at Ross County, you're looking at Hibs, we've been got at times in these games. Just going back to Europa League for a wee second there, I don't think it will be a write-off as such. Still think there's a lot to play for in the group. I do think if Lennon can get it right, as we said, we think he's got a talented bunch of players. If he can find a formula that works, he can hurt these teams we're coming up against. But tonight, in terms of qualification, was a bigger blow than it might get made out to be, because if you are wanting to qualify for this group, I think beating AC Milan at home, considering we look at what seed they came out of, I think it was a big game. But we'll go to Lille and we'll play Sparta Prague, and of course we'll hope we come out on top in every single game we play. And certainly after match day 1, I'm not prepared to say, Europe, forget it. We'll see how we go on as we go further in this group stage, but so much has to change with how we're playing, and every single game we hope it will get better, and we're just not seeing any reaction.
Well, let's hope we see that reaction on Sunday. David, that'll do us. Thanks very much. Before we finish this video, I just want to put out a wee shout. I don't usually do this in the live ones, but we've been absolutely motoring with subscribers over the last wee period. I think it's gone up about 300 or 400 in the last few days alone. So if you're one of the people watching this and haven't yet managed to subscribe to the channel, we really would appreciate you doing that. I've set the ambitious target of us getting to 10k subscribers by the end of the year. So if you want to make my Christmas, my digital Christmas, as Jason Leach put it earlier, then please subscribe to the channel. Get us to 10,000 subscribers. You'll make me happy, you'll make David happy, you'll make the 2 Johns happy, you'll make Jackie McNamara happy, and most importantly, you'll make my boss happy as well. So please do that. We'd really appreciate it. We appreciate all the support, all the views we're getting, even from non-Celtic fans, really helping me towards my target. And we're back on Sunday with the review. John McGinley will be with me. Hopefully we're looking at 3 points for Celtic. David, thanks very much.
Aye, cheers, mate.
Good to have you on. Thank you for watching, and we'll speak to you very soon. Take care and keep the faith.